Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the State Museum of Pennsylvania. My name is Michael Kirk, and I'm the Assistant Director of the Emigsville Band. We're so thankful to have you all here today to join us for this monumental, historical performance that you're all about to witness and enjoy. For those of you who don't know, the Emigsville Band is a York County-based community concert band that's been providing musical entertainment to the region since 1872, for over 150 years. To provide a brief explanation of why we're here, it all started with a cassette tape given to me by a former member of the Emigsville Band last year. It contained a live recording of our band in 1974, precisely 50 years ago to the exact hour on this date that we were in this venue just upstairs inside Memorial Hall, doing as we do now, making music for the community. Today pays homage to that special concert. And we're pleased to have Harrisburg's own Keystone Concert Band open for us in a few minutes here, as well as combine with our ensemble for a very special moment of two community bands coming together as one. It's been an honor and a privilege getting to rehearse and today perform with the Keystone Band, and we're so thankful to have them join us for today's special anniversary concert. I have a few quick thank yous I want to get out of the way, with many more to come later, and we'll get the show going with Keystone's set. Firstly, we need to thank our two main corporate sponsors. So thank you to Realtor Matthew Lockman of Howard Hanna Real Estate, as well as Country Meadows Retirement Communities for sponsoring today's performance, because simply we would not be here without their support. Yes, keep clapping. I also want to thank the museum administration, in particular Mr. Tony Brown, for his help in planning today's concert, all the logistics of booking this venue and everything involved with that. So thank you, Tony. And also, I want to thank Caleb Markle from the Keystone Concert Band for recording today's concert. And that's actually a great segue to remind you to please silence your cell phones and electronics to not interfere with that recording, but do please feel inclined to take photos throughout and share them with us afterwards. Especially during the combined set, because that'll be something real special. And now, at this time, please rise if able for the playing of our national anthem, as it is my honor to introduce you to the Keystone Concert Band under the direction of Miss Donna Deaven.
Again, good afternoon, everyone. We are the Keystone Concert Band, and we are so happy that we are here today for this fantastic community band experience here at the State Museum of Pennsylvania. This has been a truly monumental thing to partner with the Emigsville Band, to be able to be here for their 50th anniversary concert in this venue, and to help bring a Harrisburg flair to the concert. Our set list today includes a mix of music from classical to big band, from pop music to the music of video games. But first, please help me welcome to the podium the Keystone Concert Band's principal conductor and founder, Miss Donna Deaven. Our first piece today after the national anthem was Louis Panella's American Red Cross March. He composed this march during World War I, a time when Americans were deeply grateful for the humanitarian work performed by the Red Cross. The International Red Cross was established in 1864 in Geneva, Switzerland. The organization's symbol, a red cross on a white background, has been prominent during public health campaigns and periods of disaster ever since. The American Red Cross was organized by Arlen in 1881 and continues to serve in humanitarian, medical, and disaster relief roles across the country. Next, you get to join us as we go back to the big band era of the 1930s and 40s. Jazz trumpeter Harry James was one of the most prolific and influential trumpet players of the era, eventually leading his own big band. This afternoon, we will feature our own Bradley Katz and the Keystone Concert Band's trumpet section in a medley of James's hits, including Cherry Berry Ben, The Mole, You Made Me Love You, and Trumpet Blues and Cantabile. Please feel free to tap your feet as we perform this arrangement by Sammy Nestico, a tribute to Harry James. Our next selection this afternoon is a true wind band piece of music composed by a true master of wind band composition. Australian-born composer Percy Grainger has spent the majority of his prolific career combining folk music from the British Isles with 20th century musical techniques, creating some of the most memorable and recognizable works of the era. One of his most well-known compositions is his Irish tune from County Derry. The song is based on the tune from Danny Boy, or Londonderry Air, and winds throughout the piece, while layering other musical textures throughout. We hope that you enjoy Grainger's Irish tune from County Derry. is completely devoted to exploring the incredibly varied work of music from video games. We played a number of selections from different games, some well-known and some less so. One of the most well-known selections we played was from the Super Mario Bros. Franchise, whose main theme is probably one of, if not the best-known video game theme in existence. Composer Koji Kindo and arranger Takashi Hoshide were able to blend many of the main Mario themes with other musical styles, including samba, funk, mambo, march, and waltz styles. So the themes you will hear are the Stage Clear theme, the Super Mario Bros. Main theme, the Underground theme, the Invincibility theme, the Underwater theme, Princess Peach's theme, and the Game Over theme. So without further ado, here is music from Super Mario Bros. Next, we're going to go back to our big band theme for a few numbers. This first piece harkens back to the jazz nightclub scene of 1933, first performed by Ethel Waters in the Cotton Club in Harlem. The song Stormy Weather was composed by Harold Arlen with lyrics by Ted Kohler. It tells a story of disappointment, of a woman pining for her man to return, with the title coming from the lyrics, Stormy Weather, since my man and I ain't together, it keeps raining all the time. Please enjoy John Cacavas' arrangement of Stormy Weather. Next up in our couple of big band tunes, we'll play a medley of tunes by the jazz pianist Count Basie. An accomplished musician, composer, and band leader, his big band performed in Chicago for almost 50 years. Today, we will play some of his biggest hits, including April in Paris, Little Darlin', and Jumpin' at the Woodside, as we perform arranger John Higgins's Count Basie Salute. Finally, the Keystone Concert Band will close out this set with a march, because what concert band doesn't love marches? This is the American Legion March by Charles Parker. Parker dedicated his march to the American Legion, an organization of American veterans which was incorporated in 1919. Since then, the Legion works to provide support for its members and encourages good citizenship in its communities. This diverse body of work stands in contrast to the march's composer, Charles Parker, as this march is his only published work. Here is the American Legion March. We would like to take a moment to thank all of our band members who had solos, all of our soloists, if we can give them a hand, please. We'd also like to thank a few of the Emigsville Band members who were filling in with us to cover a couple parts today, so thank you both very much, really appreciate it. We also had someone from our Carlisle band who joined us today to fill in as well in the percussion section. So if you've enjoyed our performance, we'd encourage you to visit our website at keystoneconcertband.com or our Facebook page by searching Keystone Concert Band, as we post information about upcoming concerts to close out our summer season, as well as our holiday concerts in December. We hope to see many of you at our future performances. At this time, we will take about a 5-minute break, or as long as it takes us to clear the stage and our Emigsville colleagues to come on. So please take this time, stretch your legs, be back in your seats in about 5 minutes or so for the next part of the performance. Thank you. Rowlands.
We opened our portion of the concert today with a fanfare and march that were featured in the original concert 50 years ago. That was fanfare number 4 by Ralph Hermann and the Billboard march by John Klohr. I think that shows that good music will easily pass the test of time. Now, one thing the Emigsville Band likes to do is to showcase a variety of music in our concerts. One of the music genres that we try to incorporate in each concert is a polka. Now, while this polka was not featured in the concert in 1974, based in our setting here in the Pennsylvania State Museum, adjacent to the Pennsylvania State Capitol, I can't think of a more fitting polka to play than the Pennsylvania Polka by Lester Lee and Zeke. Next up is another song that was featured in that original 1974 concert, The Teddy Bear Picnic. It's one of those songs you don't hear much too often nowadays. It's classified as a novelty number, a very light, happy song. So as you listen to the music, imagine a herd, a flock, a bunch of teddy bears who escaped from their owners and are meeting in the park to have a teddy bear picnic by John Bragg. This next song is very special. While today we're paying tribute to a concert held 50 years ago, this is new music. In fact, today will be the first public performance of this march in the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. To explain the song, I'd like to read portions of a letter that we received from Commander Mark Ashley of Independence, Missouri in April of this year. Good afternoon, he begins. I wrote a march titled Coast Guard Day March and wanted to ask if the Emigsville Band might want a free copy. It took over 30 years to complete the march, mostly because I'm not a musician. In the mid to late 1980s, while attending training at the Coast Guard Training Center of North Yorktown, Virginia, I started playing music in my head while walking and marching to and from class each day. Each day I kept adding parts until what I had called the Coast Guard Day March. Upon returning to my duty station in Charleston, South Carolina, I quickly bought a Commodore Amiga PC and deluxe music construction set software on floppy disk in order to get it down on paper. Not being a musician, it took a couple of years hunting and pecking while trying to find the right notes and get the music on paper. In the fall of 1989, I sent this music to the Coast Guard Band in New London, Connecticut, and learned that the music needed to be orchestrated. In January of 1990, I sent a copy of the orchestrated version to the Coast Guard Band, but in order to actually play it, they needed to have individual parts copied for each instrument. This was labor-intensive and quite expensive at the time, so at that point, the entire project went into a box and sat in the basement. This music is intended to commemorate the Coast Guard's anniversary. The original goal was to have it ready in time for the Coast Guard Bicentennial in 1990, but I found I was in over my head. Fast forward 22 years, in February, early March 2012, while looking through some boxes in the basement, I happened to find this music. By this time, computer programs were available and the process was less costly, so I went ahead and began copying the parts. Coincidentally, we learned the Coast Guard Band was scheduled to perform a concert in Kansas City on April 30th. I hand-delivered the completed package to the director of the Coast Guard Band in Kansas City at their concert. Finally, I thought the project was completed, but it wasn't. In 2013, the Coast Guard Band graciously played this music at a practice session and sent me a recording of it. This was a crucial step in the evolution of the project. With the opportunity to actually hear the music played, I immediately identified several problems with tempo and verses. Not sure what to do next. The music sat around again for several years. Over 30 years since the project began, I connected with the music department at William Penn College. We began working on it in 2021 to get the tempo and arrangement straightened out. The completed package has been sent to the Coast Guard Band with the goal that if they find the music acceptable, they will one day perform it. The Kansas City Wind Symphony first performed the music in public during their spring concert on May 1st, 2022. Emigsville Band is deeply honored to have been selected by Commander Ashley to be able to debut his wonderful march in Pennsylvania today, September 1st, 2024. Commander Ashley, we salute you. In keeping with our theme of commemorating our concert 50 years ago, let's take a look at that year. 1974 was the inaugural season of a late-night comedy show, Saturday Night Live. Over the last 50 years, Saturday Night Live has created many, many memorable characters and skits, perhaps none more so than Dan Aykroyd and John Belushi playing eclectic blues musicians, Jake and Elwood Blues. They expanded their skits into a full-length movie in 1980, which is the 9th highest grossing musical movie of all time. This song, Blues Brothers Reviews, features some of the hits from that movie. Our assistant director, Mike Kirk, is coming to the front. Should have cued him earlier. And he'll lead the Emigsville Band in Blues Brothers Review, arranged by Jay Boco. Hymn to Freedom by Oscar Peterson is a beautiful ballad that he wrote during the civil rights movement of the 1960s. Peterson said his inspiration for the song came largely from the words of Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Hymn to Freedom went on to become the unofficial anthem of the civil rights movement, and it's deeply loved to this day. This is Hymn to Freedom as arranged by Robert Buckley. Next is Marching Down Broadway, which is a unique medley of 3 marches from Broadway shows that would have been played quite frequently in concerts 50 years ago. The 3 songs are Hey Look Me Over, Consider Yourself, and 76 Trombones. Now I said a truly unique medley, and I meant it. The arranger of this piece is John Moss. Now most of you are familiar with medleys. There's generally a an introduction, the first song, a small bridge, the next song, a bridge, the song after that, etc., etc. Not so with this medley. I don't know if Mr. Moss couldn't decide which song to put first, or if after writing it, he dropped the completed score on the floor and couldn't get it back in the right order. But at any given time in this song, we'll be playing at least portions from 2 of the 3 songs. It's truly a wonderful arrangement by John Moss, Marching Down Broadway. Our next song, Spanish Flea, predates that 1974 concert by a few years. It was a #1 record in 1965 for Herb Alpert and the Tijuana Brass. The composer, Julie Wechter, was the marimba player of the Tijuana Brass, and he wrote at least one song on every Tijuana Brass album. Now, the audience at that 1974 concert would have recognized Spanish Flea as the Bachelor's theme from the Dating Game TV show. I think you'll recognize it as well. Spanish Flea. Our next song is Rock, Roll, and Remember, which pays tribute to a celebrity who was a household name in 1974. In fact, he was a household name from the 1950s all the way up to today. James Sullivan of Rolling Stone magazine said without him, rock and roll music in its infancy would have struggled mightily to escape the common perception that it was just a passing fancy. The celebrity, Dick Clark, host of American Bandstand and Dick Clark's New Year's Rockin' Eve, each of which he hosted for over 30 years. Rock, Roll, and Remember is a medley of songs that were featured on American Bandstand, Bandstand Boogie, Rock Around the Clock, The Twist, Don't Worry Baby, Rockin' Robin, and YMCA, and concludes with an upbeat version of Auld Lang Syne. This is Rock, Roll, and Remember. Another tradition of the Emigsville Band is to play at least one Rowlands Sights march in every concert. It's not that hard a task, as he composed over 50 marches, all of them quite wonderful. His compositions earned him the nickname, the Parade March Prince. Now, Sights was born in southern York County, and is York County's most famous composer, so we want to regularly play his music to keep his memory alive. March Grandioso is his most famous work, and the one that we're glad to feature for you this afternoon. Now, another tradition of the Emigsville Band for at least the last 2 decades is to end every concert with Irving Berlin's God Bless America. Now, this won't be the end of the concert, but it'll be the end of our set. God Bless America has been very popular ever since it was debuted on Armistice Day in 1938 when it was sung by Kate Smith. An interesting fact about the song, Irving Berlin never made a penny from its publication and performances. He assigned all the rights to the song to the Boys and Girls Clubs of America. From the Emigsville Band, God Bless America. Please talk among yourselves and ignore the mass confusion that will now happen as we blend two bands into the room for one. All right, you can look again. We all fit. So the first song we're going to feature for this historic combination is Jimmy Buffett the Hits. Now, this is Labor Day weekend. The traditional Capona Arts Festival is in full swing a few blocks away. Kids are back in school. I'm afraid summer's over. Well, almost. There are a few artists whose song just screams summer. One of them is the Beach Boys, and another artist whose song we're going to feature in this first song, Jimmy Buffett, Summer Music. Buffett's musical style is a combination of country, folk, calypso, and pop, paired with tropical lyrics to create what he describes as drunken Caribbean rock and roll. The medley we'll be playing includes three of his biggest hits, Cheeseburger in Paradise, Changes in Latitude, Changes in Attitude, and Margaritaville. Today, September 1st, is the one-year anniversary of Jimmy Buffett's death. On September 1st, 2023, Buffett ate his first cheeseburger in paradise. This is Jimmy Buffett the Hits, as arranged by Patrick Roswell.
Unfortunately, we spent our time figuring out how to cram us all in here and on how we were going to pass the microphone across 2/3 of the band. But we were fortunate that our two bands have a good collection of big band music in our repertoire, making an upbeat jazz selection a great choice for one of our combined pieces. Today we're going to play some of the biggest tunes by one of the biggest performers of the era, Glenn Miller. Glenn Miller's big band was formed in 1938 and within 4 years was one of the nation's biggest musical acts. He joined the U.S. Army Special Forces in October 1942 and quickly assembled an outstanding band. From the scores of his hit tunes and arrangements, the medley we're going to perform today includes Moonlight Serenade, Little Brown Jug, Chattanooga Choo Choo, and Pennsylvania 6-5000. Please enjoy the combined Keystone and Emigsville bands playing Paul Murtha's Glenn Miller in concert.
It's in the mood, Tuxedo Junction, String of Pearls, Little Brown Jug, and Pennsylvania 6-5000.
So we will perform In the Mood, Tuxedo Junction, String of Pearls, Little Brown Jug, and Pennsylvania. And Pennsylvania 6-5000. We all can agree we're closing with that.
That was a pain to sit out to watch, but that sounded amazing, guys. It's incredible, right? I told you I'd squeeze a few more thank yous in here because I want people to understand how much effort gets put in for an incredible event like this. You probably paged through your program at this point and noticed a lot of sponsors for this concert. And we already recognized our two major ones, Country Meadows and Matthew Lockman. But there were numerous small sponsors in what we dubbed Band-Aids that are featured in the program, and I want to thank all those individuals, nonprofits, and small businesses who supported this concert as well. So thank you. I want to thank the members of the Keystone Concert Band for being a part of our concert today. The Emigsville Band has been fortunate to have played with 4 other community bands this year alone. And I know I speak on behalf of every member of our band when I say that it's such a great experience for us to share a stage with you. So thank you too. Additionally, I want to thank the Keystone Concert Band's board of directors and leaders. Donna, thank you for taking my call back at the beginning of this year and helping me pull this off.
You're welcome.
Your dedication to your band as a founding member is a testament to your love of music and community. And lastly, from me personally, to everyone in the Emigsville Band, thank you for never failing to provide me an outlet to push this band to new heights alongside our absolutely dedicated officer board. Big things like this just aren't possible without every individual committed to attending practices and performances and being a part of this musical family. And I can't imagine what our 16 founding members in that small village of Emigsville would think to see what we are today, all these years later. And specifically to our director, Jim, who's known me for half of my life. When I joined when I was 12, and I actually knew you before you had a beard. That was a COVID project. Thank you for being the face of our band for 18 years and counting, and thank you for always making this band a fun outlet for all musicians in York County and beyond to have a place to call their home. We're really blessed to have you as our director. All right, enough yapping. I'll get to the script. We would now like to honor the veterans of the Armed Forces of the United States. Armed Forces Salute is arranged by Bob Loudon and features the service songs from the Army, Coast Guard, Space Force, Marines, Air Force, and Navy. For all the veterans in attendance this afternoon, please stand if you are able when you hear your branch's song. United States Coast Guard. Mr. Rives one more time so we can honor you again for your service. Thank you so much. Thank you.
All right, well, this is my last opportunity to have the microphone. So on behalf of the Keystone Concert Band, we need to say a few thank yous as well. So first, to Jim and Michael and the Emigsville Band, thank you for making that reach out and inviting us to be a part of this historic occasion with you. We truly appreciate, as one of the area's younger concert bands, to be able to be with a concert band that has 150 years of experience. And we want to thank our guests. Thank you for making your blessed guests here today. So on behalf of our conductors, Donna and Chris, our board of directors, and all the members, we also certainly want to thank all of our audience for coming out today and supporting both of us again on this historic occasion. Thank you. And I hope that in 50 years, perhaps we have an opportunity to join you again on this stage. Michael's going, no, I don't want to do this. So as we begin to close out this afternoon, we're going to go back to the classics and play one of the most recognizable epic pieces of music of the last 150 years. This piece has been used for everything from concert closers, not quite closers, and even fireworks shows. Tchaikovsky's 1812 Overture was commissioned in 1880 as a feature piece for a performance of the All-Russian Exhibition of Arts and Crafts in 1882. Most of Tchaikovsky's music tells at least some semblance of the story, but in no other piece is the program quite so transparent as this one. It celebrates Russia's victory over Napoleon-led France in the War of 1812. The appeal is wide with its, at times, bombastic nature, including cannons and church bells. Now, the State Museum wouldn't let us bring the cannons inside, but with all of the bass drums we have back here, hopefully we can convey that energy that Tchaikovsky intended as we perform this rendition of the 1812 Overture. Please enjoy.
it's time to close our joint concert. It's really been wonderful. On behalf of the Emigsville Band, I want to extend our gratitude to our new friends in the Keystone Concert Band for joining us for this celebration concert. And on behalf of both bands, I want to thank each and every one of you. Your applause has just been wonderful all afternoon. Thank you so much for coming out to support us. Well, a concert just isn't complete without a John Philip Sousa march. Stars and Stripes is not only the most famous of Sousa's marches, it's the official march of the United States, as recorded in the Code of Federal Regulations. I am a bit worried about this song. If you notice, Donna directed 2 of the joint songs and I directed 2. When we were discussing what we're going to do with this 5th song, the decision was made to do it without a director. Without a director. I sure hope that's not something that gets popular. So now, here is no one leading the combined Keystone Emigsville Band and John Philip Sousa's Stars and Stripes Forever.
You ready? All right. Whoa!
Thank you.